Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host Hamza Chowdhury, and I wanted to welcome you guys with the Happy New Year. I know we took a little break and had the holiday season, and I just wanted to get on and let you guys know we'll try a little different format this week where we'll actually combine all of the stocks that we cover on this channel. So we're going to go over Aapl, Tesla, Palantir, and we'll go over Moderna as well. And I just hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do so, please do hit the like and subscribe button. We're a 100% free content channel, so anything that you could do to help grow this channel, I sincerely appreciate it. With that said, guys, let's just jump right into it. So the first stock symbol I'd like to go over is AAPL. That's Aapl, and that's one of our favorite stocks to go over. And Apple's been sort of on a rampage since November, since the election. And in December, we got up into the 120s, and we were sort of trading sideways. And then we really got up on this upward band of the Bollinger Band, and we made new highs at the end of last year with the news that Apple was going to start doing electric cars, be a direct competitor to Tesla. A lot of exciting news with Apple. And so for a lot of you guys who are Apple long, again, it's not something that you have to worry about. Apple's going to continue to grow. It's a $2 trillion company now, and it's on its way to $3 trillion, right? This is a company that is only growing its user base. It's growing its services. And so what we had was once we hit the new highs, we sort of had a sell-off. And normally when we have a sell-off, I typically expect to see it, as long as it's bullish, on the 20-day. And we bounced off the 20-day. And then, we know about the Capitol riots on Wednesday. We had the sell-off. And when I saw that and I knew that there was a sell-off sort of coming, I was waiting for it. Okay, so I'm still doing the same play that we talk about on the channel, which is when we sell off, which means that the RSI is, for example, oversold. We know that the stock is validating certain support levels. I purchase calls that are out of the money, and then I sell them. Either I day trade them or I might swing them for a day, and they've been just absolute money. And so you can see on Friday we clearly validated this level here of 130. So support level of 130 has been solid for us in Aapl. I know we did, like I said, we did break that, but that's when we had the sell-off because of the Capitol riots. I was down here buying, and guess what I did? I swung them and I just sold them right here. So my expectation was that we were going to obviously sell the news, and we were going to buy the dip, and then as soon as we knew everything was sort of calm in Washington, I basically sold back up here, and we just got back up to the level that we were trading at before all the news broke out. Okay, so this was essentially just a redemption for people buying back in. And then of course we had a couple more times here where we validated the 130. So as long as we're now above, you see this 20-day average, and we're now back into the bullish momentum for Apple, I expect us to trade sort of in a sideways channel. So for example, right here, you can see we're trading about 130, which is our support line, and I expect us to get back up here to test the recent highs. Okay, so I'm not saying we're necessarily going to break the highs, but what I expect is that Apple's going to trade between 130 to 140, and we'll trade sideways before we get a next leg up like we did here. Okay, so sideways action, as long as we're above 130, we're still bullish in my opinion on Apple. And then we'll look for essentially a 140 resistance level, and then we'll try to break out of that. Of course, we have just a ton of news coming out on Apple, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that coming up in the next few weeks. Okay, the next symbol we'll cover is Tesla, TSLA. A lot to say about this stock, up 800% in a year. I personally went long on the stock with the S&P news. I mentioned my option call play on the last video, and it's been on an absolute tear. So again, trading on the upper Bollinger Band, between the upper band and the middle band, we've been very bullish on Tesla, and it's just destroyed shorts. And I know people, and I mentioned in my short selling video, which you should definitely check out, is that there are people who are shorting Tesla as we speak. And my question to them is, why are you shorting Tesla when you don't know where the top is? They said, okay, I'm going to short Tesla at 700. Okay, well, it hit 800. Well, I'm going to short Tesla at 800. Then it's going to, right under 900. So people continue to short Tesla and realizing, yes, it's going vertical. Yes, it's parabolic. Yes, it's overbought. Yes, it is healthy for it to pull back, even the 20-day, give us right under 700, is a healthy pullback. But at the same time, why be that person who's trying to short Tesla and wait for that top, and be that person has to constantly either cover or add to your position, and you're most likely down, like the Big Short mentioned back in the 500-600s. He was short Tesla. I mean, if you're at 800, you're down significantly. And you can say what you want to say. If you're an analyst, you can say what you want to say, but at the end of the day, follow the trend. The trend's going to be your friend, and Tesla's been a pure long. And again, if we get over 1,000, which is what a lot of predictions are saying, don't be surprised if we start to split again, if we start talking about maybe doing another split, right? So we're getting right back to where we were. We're ramping up. And so, right, we had this pullback, keep in mind, post split from 520, 530, which we had pre-market the day they announced the offering, right? We had at 538 and went down, and then all of a sudden we got a pullback all the way here to the anchored VWAP, the yearly VWAP here around 310, 320, which was post-market, and then all of a sudden we rebounded and started trading sideways for quite a while. And so when I say trading sideways, we're talking about essentially a $100 spread, but now that you look at the Tesla chart, it looks like you see that the Bollinger Band, as it sort of tightens up, it starts to trade in a channel, and it basically goes sideways until we get back into a upward man, which we mentioned, you know, early on in these videos that we covered, right, is that you're going to continue the trend of the upwards band. You're just consolidating and letting the stock catch up with itself. But keep in mind, this was from 500 to 300. It's about a 40%, you know, essentially retracement. So don't expect that, you know, Tesla's just going to keep going straight up. There will be some type of retracement, and then of course what's going to happen is everybody's going to dip buy it, right? The moment Tesla dip buys, people need to realize, short sellers need to realize that it's going to get bought up, right? If this is part of S&P, and there are portfolio managers who cover S&P who have that as part of their sort of management and their portfolio, they're not going to just let this stock sink. They're not going to just sell it off, right? They had to buy it. They had to purchase it. And then it's going to continue to buy as it especially grows with car deliveries, which we had last year, right under the goal of 500,000. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to open up new factories. We're going to continue to develop the battery technology and make it cheaper and make it more affordable for the cars and the cars and the batteries to be more affordable for most people and the masses, like it has been for the 3 and the Y. Of course, we're going to have the Cybertruck coming out. We're going to have the Roadster coming out. We're going to just have a ton of vehicles coming out, and at the same time build the energy sector part of Tesla. We know they're doing a lot of exciting things. They're even outdoing NIO. A lot of people are talking about NIO. Well, guess what? Tesla's selling more vehicles than NIO in China. So again, very bullish, but I definitely expect, since we are really vertical, we're way overbought on the RSI. I mean, we're trading, you know, close to 85, 90, so we're way overbought. Definitely expect a healthy pullback in Tesla. In my previous video, I actually was wrong. I expected Tesla to trade sideways between $600 to $700, and again, it just got pumped up and got pushed up. And guys, keep in mind that this isn't necessarily, it's fun if you're long, but if you're a long-term holder and you're going to hold on to this, and just know that it's a healthy pullback. It's going to be good for the stock. It's going to get rid of the short-term longs. It's going to bring in some new buyers, people who are waiting for that pullback to get back in, and that's why I think it's going to get pumped right back up. So don't think that, well, we're pulling back because we're hoping the stock just goes down like the short sellers. No, we expect that the stock has a ton of consolidation here in the 5s and 6s, and that we're going to sustain this momentum, but we can't just go straight up without having some consolidation. I think there was only like 2 days right here where we traded in the 700s, and now next thing you know, we're in the high 8s. So it's definitely sounds like a squeeze. It looks like a squeeze. And again, I encourage you to check out that short selling video that I did for Tesla. So with that said, you can again look at some of the levels that we validated on Friday, the 850s. But really, realistically, because of the fact that we jumped from here to here, the 7s, I'm not really a fan of Tesla in terms of a long play until I can dip buy under the 7s. I think I mentioned the 625 is my personal favorite level. So I personally won't be adding to any type of a long position for Tesla. But again, if you're looking for a long dip, look at where you get consolidation, which is in here in the mid 7s. And then, of course, you had this uptrend. So I expect, you know, some type of retracement. We can see easily a 10% retracement, get back here in the mid 7s, and then we can come back up. But I really want to see some sideways action so we can start validating a channel in the Bollinger Band to understand where our risk and reward ratios are. Okay. With that said, let's jump into our next stock, Moderna. That's MRNA. Probably been a very disappointing stock, I think, for a lot of people. I know a lot of people who've commented on the previous videos who've been long the stock, but you know, again, on the upward band, we mentioned that, you know, the stock was way overbought, and it essentially just, you know, you can see on the RSI it was overbought. But we know that, you know, when you don't trade in these levels, you know, so when a stock goes vertical like Tesla and it's never traded on this level, we just don't know where it's going to go. No one can tell you. I can't tell you. Nobody can tell you. Nobody can forecast to you. But if you're a long trader, then you can argue that, okay, it doesn't matter today or tomorrow because I'm in this for the long term. And we know Moderna has a certain technology, but we know that this move in late November was all caused by this vaccine rollout, which Pfizer and Moderna have been sort of leading that cause. So, again, I mentioned I went long here in the 90s, and we just had this massive up to 170, 180. We had the retracement, and I mentioned in my video when this happened was we were going to see a sort of a retest. So it took, essentially 6 days or 6 sessions just to get back into that level, but we just failed, right? So here's the bullish momentum when you're trading between the 20-day and the upper band, and you can see we crossed over through some consolidation, that band, and then we hit the lower band, and then we found support from the 50-day, which just happened that back here, right, when we actually hit here, we actually were down 54. We were trading below our 50-day average. Okay, so this sort of yellow line here, this yellow line is actually a 50-day moving average, and we've been sort of trading above that. We found a little bounce above that. My personal feeling was that we were going to trade around 95 before we saw the bounce, but right now we're at least looking still to trade above the 50-day, but my feeling again is still that I would look to buy in the 90s in Moderna if I'm long. You can see that the Bollinger Band is also facing downwards. You can see now we're trading between the middle and the lower band, which is a bearish sign, and the fact that it's going down. We also see that the RSI is indicating around 39.40, which indicates that it's almost oversold. We can see that the MACD is showing some negative momentum, but that's also starting to flatten out. So there's a lot of things we're starting to see, but my personal feeling, again, if you're watching this video and you want to go long Moderna, I wouldn't get involved until right around this level, okay, between $93 to $95. That's where I would want to get involved. And then again, we can see some sideways action, probably between the 115 and the 95 area. If you're long up here, it might be some time before we could even get there. I'm not a fan of averaging down, but in this case, considering you're probably down quite a lot, definitely you want to see some confirmation that it can bounce off of this anchored VWAP here around 95. And then get some type of retracement. But for now, hyped up, totally went vertical based on the vaccine news, and now we can see that the sellers are in there. And again, long term with Moderna's vaccine and its technology, it's going to be growing. So just give it some time. It's never traded in any of this area. For a stock to double in a matter of a couple of days is just absolutely crazy, especially because we had sideways action most of the year. But again, this is still a $12 stock in 2019 that's now trading over $100. So if you've been long really since I believe Jim Cramer called it out back here, way back in 19, I mean, $12 to 112, you have a 1,000% return. You're doing pretty well. Okay, and then the final stock I'd like to go over today is the Palantir stock. One of my favorite stocks. I'm heavy long on this stock. Great IPO here in September, and then we traded on the upper band, and then of course we look for some type of retracement, which we got here. And this to me is the most important level, which is when we went vertical, where did we really find the buyers to step in and push the stock up? Okay, so we traded as high as like $33, and then we found the buyers back at 22. This is when the Army, the U.S. Army announced their contract, and Palantir again just really sideways action. So we had this upper band, and then we had this middle band, so we were bullish, and then we started trading sideways. And then what was really interesting more recently was when we broke below the 20-day, and then what I started noticing is that, okay, I expect us now that we're below the 20 days, that's going to be our resistance, which it was here on December 29th and December 30th. And now you can see we're trading on this lower band, which again is bearish, but you can also see it's flat. And what you also see here is, guess what? The 50-day average is coming through, right? So what I expect to see is that this lower band and this 50-day are going to come meet here around I'd say about $23 to $24. And I could see us bouncing off of that level and getting back up. And what was really interesting about these last few days with Palantir, you notice that every single day, guys, we're getting contract after contract after contract being announced, and the stock is doing absolutely nothing, right? So the stock is not taking into account the fact that we have all these contracts coming up, and that's going to hopefully make the earnings report look really good. And of course, the stock long-term bullish. But guys, just like anything, right, this is all we're seeing, is that we're seeing a stock that went essentially up. We're just seeing a sideways consolidation, and then before we get the next leg up. Okay, so just be patient. Know that we're trading sideways, and we found plenty of support here at the 21 level, and then of course we have some good consolidation here at the $24 level, which we validated 3 days in a row. And now we're going back to the middle band, right, as resistance, and then I expect that we're going to eventually get back to this upper band before we make this next leg up. Okay, so this upper band's trading about $28, $29. You can see there's about 3 days here as well where we traded around 29.40, 29.30. So that's been the upward resistance. So as we consolidate between 23 to 29 on the sideways action, which is I'm illustrating here, then we can expect, just like Tesla and a lot of these stocks, right, the upward band and the upward momentum will continue like it did up here once we can consolidate and exchange hands, etc., etc. So no matter how many contracts come out, it's just going to make the stock look much better for longer term. But just keep in mind that you got to just be patient. A stock can't just keep coming up. It's healthy for this sideways action. I've just been selling calls. I've been buying calls. I mean, it's been an absolute tear. It's been a great stock to trade. And of course, it's lower cost, right? So it's not like an Aapl or a Tesla, which is 800, or an Aapl, which is, 130. So this is a low cost stock that you can get involved. Definitely encourage you guys to watch some of my previous videos on how you can do the covered call play. If you have any questions on that, please do post it below. With that said, guys, we've done our 4 stocks for the week. I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope you're killing it in 2021. If you have any questions or comments, post them below and I'll be sure to respond. And if you do like this video, once again, guys, please do hit the like button. It does help the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.